Hello, friends. Welcome to today's lesson. This is Irene, and it is Sir Was once again. Last week, we discussed some of the religious practices in Islam. We went through how ablution is performed. We also looked at the things which spoil ablution, and we also went through some of the types of prayers in Islam. Now, today, we are doing religious practices part 4, and this consists of how Salat is performed. That is a common prayer is performed. Then we will be looking at that is the significance of Salat and describe how Muslims also observe the fast of Ramadan. So let's go on to our discussion for today. Now here we have how Salat is performed. It's the same as the mode of Islamic prayer. Now we know that Muslims have 5 daily prayers, and each of the prayers has its own rakat. So this one amounts for only 1 rakat of prayer, and it will be repeated if the prayer is 2 rakat, 3 rakats, and so on. So let's look at it. Now, before a worshipper or a Muslim prays, he must first perform ablution with clean water. This, of course, makes the Muslim both physically and spiritually clean. Now, let's go through the stages of Salat. So, if you see a Muslim praying, then you understand the things that the Muslim is doing. Now, if this prayer is to be done in the mosque, there will always be mats spread over there. But if it is an individual prayer, then of course a prayer mat is spread on the floor and worshipper stands on it facing the east. We know that the east, that is where we are in Ghana, the east is where we see the Kaaba. Okay, so after standing on it, the right hands are raised to the ears and Allahu Akbar is said. Now, Allahu Akbar here means God is the greatest. Now, this is known as the Takbir. So, the raising of the hands to the ears and Allahu Akbar said is known as what? The Takbir. Then, after this, the right hand is placed over the left on the chest, and the Muslim recite the Surah Al-Fatiha, which is the first chapter of the Holy Quran. Now, this posture is known as Qiyam. Then, the Muslim raises the hands to the ears and say Allahu Akbar for the second time. We have already discussed this in the first phase. It's the same takbir. So the hands are raised to the ears and Allahu Akbar is said for the second time. The worshipper then bows with the hands to the knee and say glory to Allah the Great. The bowing posture is what is known as ruku. So you bow with the hands to the knee and say glory to Allah the Great. Now after that, the worshipper stands upright and says, Allah listens to whoever thanks him. O Allah, thanks to you. This is known as Koma. Or as we can say, Kawuma. The spelling is right here. These are Islamic terms, so our pronunciations, because we are not Muslims, may differ. Now after the Kawuma or the Koma, the Muslim worshipper makes 2 prostrations with the forehead, that's the face, and the hands on the ground. This is known as sujud. Now between each prostration, he sits back on the heels and says, glory to Allah the Most High. So the 2 prostrations. So if this happens to be a 4 rakat prayer, 2 prostrations for each of them. So making about 8 prostrations in all. Now after the sujud, the Muslim sits back and recites the Shahada. This is just a sample of the Shahada. I bear witness that there is only one God, that is Allah, and Prophet Muhammad is the messenger of Allah. Then after this, with the palms open to the chin, the Muslim speaks to Allah in his own words. Then the open palms are wiped on the face to show that the Muslim has received Allah's blessing. Then the Muslim will look over to the right shoulder and then to the left shoulder. Simply put, peace to the right, or peace to the east, peace to the west. Okay, so basically what we just went through are just how Muslims do the Salat. Let's go through once again. So we said a prayer is spread on the floor, worshipper stands on it facing the east. The hands are raised to the ears, Allahu Akbar is said. That is, God is the greatest. This is known as the takbir. The right hand is placed over the left on the chest and recite the Surah Al-Fatiha. That's the first chapter of the Holy Quran. We said this is called the Qiyam. Then from there, the Muslim raises the hands to the ears again, and Allahu Akbar is said for the second time. The Muslim bows with the hands to the knee and say, Glory to Allah the Great. This is Ruku. The Muslim stands upright and says, Allah listens to whoever thanks him, O Allah thanks to you. This is called the Qawman. The Muslim then makes 2 prostrations to the forehead or the face on the ground together with the hands. This is known as Sujud. Between each prostration, the Muslim sits back on the heels and says, Glory to Allah the Most High. Then the Muslim sits back and recites the Shahada. That is, I bear witness that there is only one God, that is Allah, and Prophet Muhammad is the messenger of Allah. With the open palms to the chin, the Muslim speaks to Allah in his own words. This is known as the Nafil or the Nawafil. Now, with the palms, the Muslim wipes the palms on the face to show that the Muslim has received Allah's blessing. Then after that, he looks to the right shoulder and the left shoulder. Peace to the east, peace to the west. Now let's look at, that is, some of the significance of Salah. The same as importance of prayer. Now, as a Christian who also pray, the Christian may have a reason why he or she prays. Muslims also have significance, importance attached to their salat. Now, I don't think the Muslim will just pray just because he wants to pray. Through prayer, a lot of good things are achieved. Just as a Christian also prays to God to achieve a whole lot of things. So let's go through some of the significance of salat. 1, we say salat draws a Muslim closer to Allah. Now this means that it allows a Muslim to have fellowship with Allah. It allows the Muslim to be committed to Allah. Now through constant prayer, that Muslim will not even do things which are evil. Because obviously, as you pray and you sin, that means you are just playing with the whole prayer thing. So it draws a Muslim closer to Allah. Now 2, it enables a Muslim to communicate with Allah on a daily basis in order to put his or her request before him. So as you pray, you tell God what you need. If it is material things, if it is spiritual things, God knows everything, but you need to tell God. So the second point says it enables a Muslim to put his request before God. The third point, it enables a Muslim to be obedient to the commandments and teachings of Allah as well as the Prophet. Now, prayer is a commandment from Allah. That is why there are 3 kinds of prayers in Islam. We have the one which was commanded by Allah, then the one added to the original prayers by what? By Allah. Then, of course, the ones that a worshipper wants to communicate. I believe you've heard of the fast before. That is the one commanded by Allah. Then we have the sunnah, ending with the T, the one which was added to the original prayers by the prophets. And the nafil, that is your optional prayer. So by praying, a Muslim, that is, adheres to the commandments and teachings of Allah as well as the prophets. Now, the 4th point, prayer also brings a sense of direction, security, and protection to a Muslim. The 5th point also allows a Muslim to avoid evil thoughts, immoral living, and temptations. It makes a Muslim pure to that extent. It also brings unity, solidarity, and togetherness amongst Muslims as they constantly meet in the mosque to pray and share ideas. So you go to pray, you see a new person, of course, it gives you the chance to say hi to the person. If you constantly come across that person, who knows, the two of you can become friends. The last point, it solidifies the faith of a Muslim in Allah. So I believe that if you meet such a question anywhere, you'll be able to use the points that we have here to answer the question. It is not difficult. It's just the same as importance of what? Of prayer. So importance of salat. Now let's go to the last part of the lesson by looking at, that is the concluding part of the 5 pillars of Islam. We have already discussed the Sawm to be the 4th pillar of Islam. Now here we are going to look at how, that is, the Sawm is observed. Here simply puts how Muslims observe the Ramadan fast. Now we all know that the Psalm is a 29 to 30-day fasting observed by Muslims on the 9th month of the Islamic calendar, which is the Ramadan. The fasting period is meant for purification of the body and thoughts of the Muslim. So let's go through some of the points which are valid when Muslims are observing the fast. So 1. During the month of Ramadan, Muslims fast from dawn to dusk. So they wake up around 3:30, they take in some light food, then before that is 5, they begin the fasting. So they fast from dawn to dusk, that is the evening. Now during the fasting, they must abstain from food, water or drinks, or even sexual pleasures. So at this time, even if you have saliva in your mouth, you're not supposed to swallow, because if you do that, you've broken your fasting. You are not supposed to drink water, food, and even enjoy sex. Now the third point, Muslims are to rid themselves of anything which is impure, both in deeds and in thoughts. So at this stage, they are not supposed to think evil, they are not supposed to incubate impure thoughts, because they are fasting. They're supposed to be holy before Allah. So we are saying that Muslims rid themselves of anything which is impure, both in deeds and in thoughts. Now during the fasting, a special prayer called Taraweeh is observed. Now note that this Taraweeh prayer is only observed during Ramadan. But in addition to this prayer, there are other prayers that can be recited. One typical example is the Tahajjud. The Tahajjud is a pre-dawn prayer. It can be recited at any time, not during Ramadan. But as a matter of fact, as Muslims recite other prayers, they can add Tahajjud. So Tahajjud is not only recited during the fasting, but it can be recited at any time. Okay, let's go on. Muslims also recite the Quran and observe the 5 daily compulsory prayers throughout the day. So the fact that you are praying, the fact that you are fasting doesn't mean you should check the 5 daily compulsory prayers. You need to, that is, go according to the prayer times and observe them. Now, however, children, the aged, the sick, heavily pregnant women, as well as lactating women are exempted from the fasting. Now, kids are kids. They cannot fast. Even if they are fasting, because they may not have assimilated the main reason why they are fasting, they may even be tempted to take in food when no one is watching. So, small children, very old and weak people, those who are sick, and heavily pregnant women are exempted from the fasting. Now, but then, when somebody is sick and the person gets better, the person needs to fast for the period that he or she missed. Yes, that is very important. For example, if you are just sick of headache and because of that you cannot fast, so you were not able to fast for 2 or 3 days, you must fast when you get well for those 2 or 3 days that you missed. Now let's go on. Menstruating women must not fast when their flow starts. However, such women must fast for the number of days missed after the fasting period. I think it is clear now. Yes. Now, however, if you are not sick but you cannot fast, then you need to calculate the expenses that you make on food every day for the whole month that you are not going to fast, and donate that amount of money to the aged or to the poor and the needy. And that pays for your inability to fast for that period. I hope it is understood. Very good. Okay, so let's continue. So we are saying menstruating women must not fast when their flow starts. However, such women must fast for the number of days missed after the fasting period. Then lastly, the Ramadan fasting ends with a special Islamic festival called the Eid al-Fitr. So Eid al-Fitr festival is the feast of breaking the fast of Ramadan. So after Ramadan ends, a day passes, then the next day Muslims, that is, have fun because they were abstaining for food for so long. Thank you very much. This is the end of today's lesson. We'll continue next time.